Hello everybody of the internet. Today I'm not in my regular setup. This will most likely be the only time you'll see me in this type of room. But I wanted to make a quick video about the knockouts for the Euros 2024 in Germany, because they start in about 50 minutes. Starts the first match, and I just wanted to give my predictions, but I'm on a cruise, so I can't wait till I'm home because it's too long. So I just wanted to make it here. So I made my little piece of paper, and I'm going to rattle and yap a bit about the matches and who I think is going to win up until the final. So let's start off with the last 16. The first match, Switzerland versus Italy. Both pretty strong contestants. Switzerland is always good at the Euros. They showed last Euros especially. But I do think Italy will take the win, but on a 2-2 draw leading up into penalties. I think Donnarumma will save Italy. The next match is Germany versus Denmark. I think this will be an easy dub for Germany. I predicted a 3-0. 3-0. I just think that is the most convincing one, because Germany have been very strong, especially in their match against Scotland and Hungary. They weren't as good against Switzerland, but eventually they still made that draw. So I think they have to pass Denmark without troubles because they weren't as good. The third match, England versus Slovakia, I think. There are two countries which I will probably say wrong, but I think it's Slovakia. And we have a screaming child in the hallway. Good. So England, Slovakia, I'm going to say another 1-0 win for England, just because they really weren't good at the Euros. They had that lucky win against Serbia, because in the second half Serbia were way better than England, and then two draws as favorites of the tournament. So I don't have a lot of confidence in England to win it anymore, and I do think they need to sack Southgate, but I will give them the wins. The win. Match 4, Spain against Georgia. I think this will be an easy dub for Spain, 3-0. I think it's also pretty obvious, because Spain and Germany are the two countries that haven't disappointed us or the viewers, in my opinion. I think both of them did really good so far. So they are my favorites to win it, one of them. So I'm going to give it an easy dub to Spain, 3-0, and maybe even the first goal of Lamine Yamal. I see it happening. Next match, match number 5, the most important one for me, is France versus Belgium. It hurts to say, but I'm very convinced this will be a 2-0 win for France. Why? Because Belgium had that one good game against Romania, but that's it. I really don't believe in us winning anymore. I don't see us going any further, except for if we play against France like we did in the Nations League a couple of years ago, where we were super attacking in the first half, and we got with the 2-0 lead, which we gave away due to a penalty, and then we gave up. So in the case that we attack them from the first minute, they could be shocked and give up, because France really isn't that good or that strong this tournament. So far they only made one goal for themselves, and it was a penalty. So I don't really believe in France to win it, but I do think they will get this one with a 2-0 dome. Then the sixth match is Portugal Slovenia, I think. And I'm going to give this one to Portugal with a 2-0 win. Why? Because it's simple for me. I think Roberto Martinez has an idea what he wants to do. I think with Portugal, he hasn't really disappointed except for that shock against Georgia. But I do think that's about it with disappointment. He gave Ronaldo his chances. He hasn't scored yet at the Euros, but he did good in the qualifiers. So let's just say this will probably be an easy game for Portugal, but I do only see them making 2 goals. The seventh game, I think, is Romania versus the Netherlands. I will give this one to the Netherlands with a 1-2. So Netherlands 2, Romania 1. Why? Because the Netherlands, they weren't bad. Even against the match against Austria, they weren't necessarily bad. They just had a bit in shock, I think, because they made their comeback. They put in Wout Weghorst. He gave the assist to Memphis, which was a great goal in my opinion. They got Cody Gakpo to shoot a good goal in, so I do believe they could go pretty far. Now for the last match in the round of 16, Austria-Turkey, both countries to give us a good match if they both want to. If they both decide to play absolutely horrible, this could go down as one of the more boring games in the tournament, I think. But I do give the match to Austria with a 2-1 win, but I do think this could go to Turkey as well, because Turkey have been good, and I believe in Turkey. I do think they could go even further, and maybe even Arda Güler will score again. It might happen. I think that's relatively possible. Then we go to the quarterfinals. The first match would be, if my predictions are correct, would be Spain-Germany, and I think that would be the best match of the tournament in both ways. My prediction is 2-3 for Germany, but it could as well be a 1-0 victory for either of them, because they are both my favorites to win it. So I do think, if you don't talk about the scoreline and the amount of goals being scored, this will always be a quality match. But Germany, I do think they as well will have the favor of playing at home, so I think they will just make it over Spain. But I wouldn't be surprised if Spain did the same and won over Germany. The second match of the quarterfinals would be Portugal versus France. I gave it a 1-1 draw, and France winning on penalties. I think that would be most convincing or something, most likely to happen. Maybe even because of Roberto Martinez at Portugal. He gave 2 matches against France, one with the golden generation of Belgium, one without it, but still practically a good Belgium squad. But we both lost the matches, which both led to us not winning an easy title. So I do understand why it's unbelievably messy, maybe for him, to have like the feeling, if I do this again, I rob another country of possibly winning a trophy. But besides that, France aren't this good in this tournament. So I give it a 1-1, and then just on penalties, someone of Portugal misses one, and then, I don't know, Mbappe might crash it in. Well, and then they advance. The third match would be the Netherlands against Austria again, and then I do know, I do think, not know, that the Netherlands would beat Austria now. They lost to them 2-3, but I do think if Koeman decides to really analyze that game and their other games and just doesn't uses the same players or doesn't make the same mistakes, that it would be a victory for the Netherlands. Not an easy one, but just a good one. A good victory, which would give them some confidence too. And then the last match I had England versus Italy, the final of last Euros, and I have the same result, a 1-1 win on penalties for Italy. Why? Because England really aren't that good. They have really disappointed. Talk about it as much as you want, but they have been disappointed. If you look at the squad list, it would be no difficulty for them to win it. You have Harry Kane with more than 40 goals in the Bundesliga, or combined with the Champions League maybe, but I think 40 in the Bundesliga. You have Jude Bellingham, who was insane for Real Madrid. You have Phil Foden, who was insane for Manchester City. You have Saka, who didn't have his best season at Arsenal, but still great stats. You have Declan Rice, who made his best, who performed the best in his career, who was named the best in his position next to Rodri. So even though on paper they would be the best, they just really haven't lived up to the hype. So I just think, because Italy aren't such a strong team in the Euros too, they would have had difficulties with qualifying, I think, if they didn't score that dramatic late winner against Croatia. They might have been not even taken to the knockout stages. They might have just been eliminated in that pool of the best threes. But in this situation, I will give it to Italy. Then the semi-finals, the first match, Germany versus France. I do think eventually it could be a hard match because France would really want to win it, but I do think Germany is almost unbeatable at the Euros. So they will win it, I think, against France with 2-0. And then the second match would be the Netherlands versus Italy, and I think this will be a thriller with maybe in the 80th minute or maybe even after extra time, one late winner by the Netherlands, maybe by Xavi Simons. I see him doing that for his country, or maybe even again Wout Weghorst. I see that happening too, but I do think they will score a dramatic late winner to seal the victory, or a dramatic, how do I say it, a unbelievably early goal, like in the first 5 minutes or something, but then that the game dies fully because they really want to secure that spot in the final. But I do give it to the Netherlands, and then we have the final, which is Germany versus the Netherlands, and I will just keep it simple. This could be a hard match, but for Germany in their state, in the final, in their home country, with all the rest, it shouldn't be, and I give it a 2-0 win for Germany. So that's my prediction. I hope I'm right, because I definitely need to grab some points on the Sporza Euro predictor, or I don't know what's it called, but in Dutch it's pronostiek. I don't know. I just call it a predictor then, because I was insanely good in the first part, but I suck now. I got too many 1 points because all of those upsets from Georgia and Austria and France being absolutely terrible. So yeah. So my conclusion is Germany win the Euros. So that's it. Yoo-yoo!